Hello, my name is Elizabeth Rose, founder of MediLaw, and today's recording is about how we put clients first and how our unique multidisciplinary approach makes a difference in our cases. The benefits of a MDT approach came to me when working on complex medical cases and realizing that all complex and seriously ill patients usually have the benefit of an MDT approach. So, for a cancer case, you would have an MDT meeting, which would involve an oncologist, a radiologist, a surgeon, and a cancer nurse. So, what I wanted to do is infuse this approach with a legal process, meaning we have a team from all different backgrounds, including medical backgrounds, to ensure we're working together to achieve the best outcomes for our clients. So, to kick off, I think we'll do an introduction of everybody in the team. And Suzanne, if you would like to start by introducing yourself and telling our viewers what your role is and how you work together with the rest of the team.
Hi, my name's Suzanne. I'm one of the solicitors in the team. I am a specialist in personal injury law and I am also a qualified counsellor and therapist. I work with the team in that when the cases come in, they go to, first of all, our client care consultants and then they will pass them to me to review in terms of the legal aspects of the case. And then we would then decide if the cases were going to be taken forward and I would then deal with the cases going forward.
Excellent. So, Craig, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you do in the team?
Of course, Elizabeth, thank you. So I'm Craig Christie, the very man from Craig's Case Checker. Check it out. But yeah, I'm one of the solicitors within the team, and much like Suzanne, I assist with assessing any new inquiries which come through. But on top of that, of course, are progressing several generally more complex claims, unfortunately relating to death, but something needs to be done on occasion. And yeah, so I've been working on medical negligence claims for about approaching 6 years now. And I've also got a personal injury background, having trained at one of the specialist firms in Scotland on that subject. And so yeah, I'd just like to think I bring a bit of in-depth experience to the team, and I'm a bit of a nerd for the law. So I like looking into all the certain academia of it. And on occasion, that does apply to the cases.
Absolutely. And Nadine, do you want to go next?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Hi, I'm Nadine Montgomery. I'm part of the legal team. I'm the medical trainee solicitor here at L&M MediLaw, and I'm slightly obsessed with patient safety, so I'd call myself a patient safety ambassador. My particular area of interest is informed consent, but I'll come on to that later.
Thank you, Nadine. And we have two for the price of one. Heather Holden and Tina Murray, our client care consultants. Do you want to tell us what you do and what you bring to the team?
Thank you, Elizabeth. My name is Tina Murray, and this is
Heather Holden.
and we are client care consultants, work for L&A MediLaw, and what we do is we take the initial calls that come from the clients and we gather the information, create a good relationship from the word go, create a good foundation with empathy and listening skills, and therefore we can help them through the client journey. We summarize the information, discuss it with the specialist solicitors, and we all work together to see the decision is about the case comes in front of us. And the decisions made by the legal team, the specialist lawyers, and we continue to lead the client.
Thank you. So we just
Um,
go into your Neve, last but not least. If you tell us what you do, Neve, and what you bring to the team.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. My name is Neve Page, and I am the legal assistant for L&M MediLaw. I would say some of my job involves some legal research, medical research, some um, reviewing of records. But I'd say most of my job is probably to correspond with clients on a daily basis and ensure that they feel listened to and supported through their sort of journey.
And certainly you've been giving great feedback so far, Neve, with the client. So thank you. So our first discussion topic is what sets us apart. Why are we unique? And I think an excellent person to answer this is Suzanne, who's joined us from a big personal injury firm. So she's probably in the best position to compare and contrast and say what we do differently.
Yeah, I hope I can do you justice in this part of the podcast. I have just come from a very big personal injury specialist law firm, and so this has been a bit of a change for me coming into this kind of small, very small, tight team that we have here who all work very closely together. I think for me, the big difference that I see on a day-to-day basis is the 100% focus on client care. That is really the thing that I can see that is most important to everybody here. And also the focus on working in a way that's really trauma aware, that we actually we acknowledge the suffering and the trauma that clients who are coming to us with these very complex histories, that's something that's at the forefront of our minds. And that's why the team that we're building here is around people who have that expertise and that experience in their backgrounds. We have myself and Tina on the team who both have qualifications in counselling and experience in counselling and therapy work. And also we have likes of Heather and Tina who have the nursing background, so they have that medical background as well. And also people like yourself, Elizabeth, and people like Nadine who have that experience of having had their own cases and know what it's like to be a client and can really provide that additional kind of understanding that clients need when they're going through a really difficult process like that.
So you've summed it up very well. And I think, as far as I'm aware, we're the first team in Scotland where we have people that have come primarily from a medical background, come from a completely different industry, and work together to secure the best possible outcomes. I know that Tina and Heather have been invaluable in interpreting medical records for us, giving us an idea on how we should triage the cases. And I know they've come up with their own terminology in terms of, I think one of the things that Tina said is that we're referring on to the consultant, and that's for coming to me or Suzanne. And I think that's great that we're using medical and legal language because ultimately this is medical legal work. So it makes sense to embrace the two disciplines. So I do think that makes us very unique. And also I think this leads us on nicely to our second topic is how do we ensure our clients feel supported and understood through their legal journey? So I think Tina would be great for this, and also Suzanne. Tina is a psychotherapist, but she also has how many years in nursing, Tina?
Oh gosh, nearly 40 years nursing, over 35.
Well, you certainly don't look it. And how do you think that we support the clients? Because obviously they come to you very raw, very upset. How do you support them?
Supporting them, I think, works best by establishing a good relationship from the outset, by listening to them. And I think that's where my psychotherapy training has helped as well. Also, it's your background where you have to listen to patients. So as the client care consultants, we see the clients that come to us as patients that need care for. How do we support them? We listen. We build a good relationship from the word go, as I mentioned earlier, but also hearing their story and giving them the space and the place to tell everything that's happened to them in confidence and in safety, and using empathy to let them know that we do care and we want to try and help. That way we get the best information from them, which help legal case, because if they feel confident talking to us, they will remember to tell us everything they think.
Absolutely. It's about making them feel comfortable. And that's definitely been one of my ethoses. And that one of the reasons why we did the video walkthrough is that when people come to the office, they can see what the office looks like, they're familiar with their environment, and it brings anxiety. Right. And also what's wonderful with some of our team have specialist knowledge with their particularly vulnerable clients. And Suzanne did specialist suicide prevention training. Don't know if you want to tell us a bit about that, Suzanne.
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit. Yeah, so I just want to echo as well what Tina was saying there the counselling skills and how I think that really complements the whole. Sorry, there's a bit of feedback that I'm getting there. What's happened? Sorry. Yeah, I was just going to echo what Tina had said there about the counselling training and how that can really feed in to the work with clients that we're doing in terms of like building a relationship with the client where they feel safe to be able to tell us exactly what's happened to them, and empathy is really vital in that. And I've also done training in suicide prevention. And that's really a course that teaches how to recognise and be aware of people who might be at a high risk of suicide, and how to manage that risk, how to assess suicide risk, and how to have open conversations about suicide, because it is one of these subjects that is quite a taboo subject. And the assist training is really all about addressing those, if people have those kind of feelings, just addressing it head on and allowing people to feel as if that it's something that they can talk about.
So it's really about excellent communication skills and being able to have a direct conversation, but in a sensitive way. And we do have suicide cases, and we are faced with the aftermath of suicide, which is absolutely horrendous. So having people like Suzanne and Tina are really invaluable to make sure we are not re-traumatizing these families. So that's incredibly helpful. And if we move on to our next topic, which I would just remind myself what that is, team working. So I think this would be a really good one for Tina and Heather to describe, because they have a really nice way of describing how they refer the cases. So I think they refer to themselves as A&E. They're triaging the cases. It goes into acute receiving, and then it goes to one of the consultants. So I think it'd be really nice for Heather and Tina to describe triage a case and how they work with the rest of the team.
Yes, Elizabeth. I think unknowingly we revert back to a clinical background and medical into legal in our way. We're just so yeah, we see the client as our patient, and triage is basically a medical term for gathering all the information, collating it, and then when we need to, we seek advice obviously from the lawyers. So we're merging our medical and our legal together. We're seeking reviews from consultants as well. I think both our backgrounds to complement each other in the sense that we've both got similar knowledge, but we collaborate on all cases, let's say, viewpoints. We take each other's viewpoint into account, and then we present our case to the professional lawyer, or as we say, we take it to the fair to the consultant now.
And we have an inside joke that the bed manager says that the beds are the ward is full. So we're even using some of the medical jokes now, aren't we?
Yes, it's two do go hand in hand, and especially with its medical negligent cases, it makes total sense to see it as healing journey for the client.
Yes. No, it is. It's really wonderful to have you on board, and we're learning so much from you, particularly because you can decipher terrible consultants' handwriting, because you're very used to doing consultant reviews and ward rounds. So that is very helpful. I'd like to pass this over to Nadine to talk about our professional expertise and our development and our unique skills that we bring to the team. And Nadine in particular has a very special story about her journey into the law, and I thought it'd be lovely if she could just discuss that with us.
Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. I think we all bring something really unique. Perhaps what I bring that's distinct from others is a compassion, understanding, and empathy to our clients as someone who's been through the litigation process personally as a pursuer. I know how it feels, and I can provide a unique perspective to the team and, of course, indeed to our clients. My son was born with cerebral palsy following a horrendous delivery, and I brought proceedings on behalf of my son, claiming that my doctor had breached her legal duty by not explaining significant risks that could arise during his birth. So I had been there. I understand. I have given evidence. I have sat through a 6-week long proof at our civil court in Scotland, which is the court session. Well, I know how terrifying that can be. I think sometimes as lawyers now we forget because we're used to being in courts how scary that is for the average person who's never set foot in a courtroom before. In terms of my own case, it was dismissed in both courts in Scotland, the Outer House, and then the Appeal and the Extra Division of the Inner House. And finally, 15 years later, a bench of 7 Supreme Court justices unanimously allowed my appeal, and the law was changed within the UK with respect to informed consent. So following that decision, informed consent is now essential for medical professionals, which protects the rights of individual patients. And that brings me to another area where I'm slightly obsessed with, which is patient safety. I think we've got like a unique kind of understanding of consent. And I am slightly obsessed with valid consent and patient safety. And I continue to lecture medical professionals across the UK on the importance of this. I think now I bring that expertise to cases that we're currently working on.
Yeah, absolutely do. And I think when we're prepping for a proof, it's wonderful that Nadine can sit down with a client and say, this is how it feels. This is where you go. This is what to expect. And this is proper lived experience. And it's from the client's side, not from the lawyer's side, because we have a totally different perception of events, particularly in a courtroom scenario. So we're paying dividends in relation to your lived experience, Nadine. So thank you for that. I also wanted to talk about Craig's Case Checker, because I think this is a wonderful resource that we have for students, for people looking in to get into the law, and also for clients who are interested in the black letter of the law. Craig, do you want to tell me a bit about your podcast and the types of subjects you cover and what this means for our clients?
Of course, thank you, Elizabeth. So yes, as kind of part of the remit of the team, really, is we not only want to assist clients in moving forward and what is in a tumultuous time for them, but also act as a resource of knowledge. And I think simply, if you come across as knowing what you're talking about, then people will undoubtedly have more faith in you. And I, we absolutely do know what we're talking about. And the podcast, as you say, was not only intended for the students and the curious observers, but clients as well. And I like to think, in a way, it's we try to give something back to the community in some way or form. But no, like it's the sort of topics that we cover are anything related to the more, let's say, perhaps the more pressing issues in clinical negligence. So if there's a new big case that's just been announced, we'll generally do some kind of podcast on that and provide our own insight. And in moving forward in the future, we're certainly hoping to expand to include people from the legal world of clinical negligence. You never know, perhaps even doctors, to bring their own perspective to the law and how it's applied in these situations, which is never straightforward and is just by default very complex. Yeah, no, I'm just hopeful that it's of some use. I certainly like to think so.
It definitely is, particularly in kind of novel areas like secondary victim claims. And you did a really excellent talk on that. And this has been someone's not been directly injured themselves, but has witnessed somebody else going through a horrific event. And I think you did an excellent job of describing the law, because that is something that our clients ask us about, isn't it, Craig?
Yes, absolutely. If there's one thing that scares clients a lot is not knowing how it's all going to work and why the law is the way it is and how it works in their case. And so, yeah, in the end, we tried to make the podcast as accessible as possible, not only for clients, but also for your curious observers or your students who, as much as they'd like to think they know a lot about the law in those early years, and so
And you
admittedly,
realise what you don't actually know when you get
yeah,
into
yeah.
practice.
So if it makes it that little bit easier for them to understand and what to expect in terms of for students, their studies, or for clients, their case going forward, then great. Because in the end, as we've alluded to already, if they feel comfortable and familiar with the process, then it only makes the journey far easier for them. I certainly hope that's what they take out.
It definitely is. And we're all about accessible legal services, and the law is for everyone, just not a select group. Justice is for absolutely everyone in the community. And we know we passionately believe this at LNA MediLaw. So I'd just like to talk about our achievements and reflect back on 2020. It's been a really busy year. We did very well at the Scottish Legal Awards. We won excellence in client care, which we were really proud of. And not to toot my own horn, but I won Lawyer of the Year, which I was really pleased about. And it was very unexpected, as everyone in the group can attest to, because I think nearly fell off my chair when they announced it. So that was lovely. We also are representing a huge number of patients. I think we have over 123 at the forthcoming LGML public inquiry. And we're really excited about making sure the patients' voices are heard and that hopefully they get some answers into what happened to them and why. And so that's a huge undertaking, and the whole team are involved in that. And we're really proud of that work. I think the Dean's just going to talk us through some of the events that she's been speaking at. And she also had a visit to Downing Street, which I thought was very exciting.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We're all really proud of you for winning Lawyer of the Year. And actually, one of the things that I've put is that I'm delighted that with outstanding training I'm getting here, an opportunity to take part in high profile proofs and court work and being given that autonomy. So thank you for that. This year, I'm also really proud to have maintained my focus on patient safety by continuing my speaking engagements across the UK on valid patient consent. So I spoke at the Association of Surgeons of Great Britain, and I gave the keynote lecture and participated in panel discussions at Euroanesthesia 2023 conference at the SECC. I was delighted to be invited to Westminster to celebrate the launch of the Patient Safety Commissioner 100 Days report. And I was pleased that discussions and initiatives regarding valid patient consent are being prioritised. And I pledged to work with Henrietta Hughes, who's our Patient Safety Commissioner, and other associations to deliver this. I was also invited to Downing Street by Patient Safety Watch for the release of their new report on patient safety and avoidable harm. And I loved getting my picture taken outside Downing Street.
And those pictures were lovely pictures, and very proud. The work you're doing in patient safety is very much needed, and your input is, I'm sure, valued by the medical community. Now, looking ahead into the future, what's in store for L&M MediLaw? We're about to launch our TikTok channel, and Suzanne is taking the lead on that. Suzanne, do you want to tell us what our TikTok channel is going to be called and what kind of content we can expect?
Sure. This was Elizabeth's idea to launch the TikTok channel. And I put my hand up to do this because I have 3 teenagers in the house. So I'm hoping to get a bit of assistance from them in how to deal with TikTok. But our TikTok channel is going to be called Ask MediLaw. And what we would like to do, really just get some content there around about the sort of common questions that clients will ask us. Just short videos that are informative and educational, that people can use to compare to, maybe if they want to know how to make a complaint to the NHS, or if they want to have a look at their medical records, how to go about covering their medical records, what short videos about what's involved in the court process, court pleadings, that sort of thing. So hopefully people find that helpful.
I hope so, and I think you'll be the new TikTok star, hopefully. Niamh, you have some news to share with us. I think you will be starting your traineeship, hopefully with us soon. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, so it's very exciting. I started working with L&M MediLaw after doing a summer placement with the parent company just last summer. So I've been working since March this year, and as a result of my work, I have been offered the traineeship with the parent company, which I should be starting in September. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to continue my work with medical negligence and MediLaw in particular.
I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful career in whatever you pick, Niamh, because your help has been invaluable and we've all benefited from that. So thank you very much. So I think in terms of what we do next, we're going to apply for some more awards. Hopefully we're successful. Legal 500 as well, chambers, promoting more educational content, doing more videos, doing more podcasts, educating the public, and generally being a good ambassador for patient safety, because that's what we're here for. We're here for justice for the patients and hopefully to improve medical outcomes as well. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you found it useful. And thanks to the team for coming today and taking some time out your diaries.
Bye bye.